Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero, and I am here with special guest Pandamusk.
G'day, g'day.
Yeah, he was in the neighborhood, and so we decided to get together to show you some of the Game Boy Advance emulation options on Virtual Console.
Hooray, with Metroid Fusion, one of my favorite games.
Is it now?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Good choice, good choice. So, as you can see here, this is just from default perspective, like how you would view the game. So I'm just going to let the reel that would play here run normally. Because anyone who's played Metroid knows that these little sizzle reels are kind of cool because they teach you things also about how to play the game. But these are default options all left on. We have not changed anything yet. And if you're not in the know, the Virtual Console Game Boy Advance games were actually developed by a company known as M2, who has done some emulation work for Sega fairly recently. And even for a couple of years now, actually.
Is that with their 3D Classics range?
Yeah,
same
3D
guys?
Classics. They were done by them. They were also behind like some Sega Ages. That may have been a different brand, but they've done a couple of projects for them. So I'm going to interrupt this great video here just to show folks. So right here, we'll bring up the options. This should look familiar because your Virtual Console menu looks like this. However, this settings section is extremely interesting because here you have a couple of options. So first of all, screen smoothing. For those who would rather not see blocky polygons but switch it to a more smoothed out kind of look, you can switch that on. So we'll do that here, and then just back out to show the folks at home. So with smoothing on, not bad. Now I read that the backgrounds and specifically the games were artificially brightened to compensate for the fact that, remember, the Game Boy Advance at one period did not have a black backlight for a while, at least until the SP came out. So, doesn't look bad.
It looks great, actually.
Yeah. Let's just see the title screen with smoothing on as well.
Not great.
Yeah. See, I feel like with a lot of these graphics, usually the text is where it shows some of its biggest flaws, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to hit start here. And with smoothing on, okay, that's an improvement. Yeah. For the most part. Again, that's if it's your kind of thing. Some folks don't like this because it feels like, you sort of smeared Vaseline on it.
Exactly.
For a crude analogy. So let's go back. All right, so settings. Let's switch screen smoothing off and instead switch on something called, on TV screen, they have a pixel perfect mode. So Panda, this will like basically map the pixels to a closer aspect ratio to what they should be.
So it maintains a square pixel ratio.
Yes.
The 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you can see that it adds a black border around the whole thing. Okay. So it just kind of condenses the screen a little more, makes it more along those lines, which is, I guess, good. So let's just start a game while we get things rolling. Cool, man. So do you like to configure controls on like old?
No, I keep it as I remember. So
keep it as original as possible.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, because see, with all these extra buttons, it does kind of get a little weird.
Can you map extra moves to the different?
So let's do that. So hang on real fast.
Because I remember the diagonal up and down.
Yeah, that's still left
left
bumper.
Trigger.
Yeah, that's right. And then right bumper is your missiles. But you can go to control settings and pick the controller you want to customize. So, for example, right now, the L and R, which are so L on the Game Boy Advance on the right is typically for the diagonal. Mm-hmm. I don't like that there. I actually want to move it to the back trigger. So I'm going to go over to ZL and change that to be... Oh, wait. Let me go back a sec. There we go. Okay, so let's unassign this button real fast. So none.
I like that they have the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, right on the side.
Icon
right?
there. That's great.
Okay, and let's make this the L button instead. That works better for me.
Okay.
And then the same would go for R. I don't want missiles there. Instead, I'm going to make that a way to access the Virtual Console menu. And ZR is going to be my R button on the Game Boy Advance. Right? So, if all this works out, I like that you can configure different types of controllers. There we go. So I'm using the back triggers.
Much more comfortable for those used to FPSs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just the dimensions of the controller. But if not, you can go bumpers. You can map this thing out. You can use X and Y instead. I'm using just the default B and A buttons.
Yeah, I actually prefer still to play this game on the
D-pad.
with the D-pad. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
That's how I do it too. All right. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Also, just special mention for folks at home, the gamepad screen, you can actually bring up the original manuals for these games. They've actually been preserved. But the only problem there is that if I try to bring that up, you're going to see that on screen at least, you're going to see this message. So the game is paused. Please look at the Wii U gamepad screen. But on the gamepad screen itself, you can actually see the original manual, zoom in, and that's just really cool, I feel.
That's great.
Yeah, and just kind of, you can also have it open while, if you press the zoom button there, yeah, you can zoom in and out and zoom closer to read it. But again, sorry, folks at home, you can't really see that. What's really cool, though, is these are accurately preserved in the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga manual. It actually still has an advertisement for the Game Boy player in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
So
On the very end page.
Yeah, very, very cool. So the developers at M2 definitely take retro emulation very seriously, and that's
even the blue covers in the back.
That's right. Yeah.
Warranty information. That's fantastic.
All right, so that's just a general walkthrough of the. Let's back out of that. So that's just a general walkthrough of the Virtual Console emulation options you have if you purchase one of the Game Boy Advance games. Hopefully, we'll see some more of these kind of find their way into other Virtual Console releases. But for more on GBA Virtual Console and Metroid Fusion and a handful of other games, make sure you keep it right here at IGN.